So I decided to actually cold approach today because I was talking to my friend, and one of my friends put me on a challenge, right, where I should get a relationship or try to get a date before April, which normally I wouldn't really try. But I remember I brought it up to my other friend, and I was like, but like all the girls here are in a relationship, my college, right? And the guy was like, dude, be a man. It made me think, right? Because I cold approached two girls today, right? Both of them had a boyfriend. But I will say one thing I really enjoyed is that when I did cold approach like the first girl, that like harsh, hard beating feeling I had in my chest, it kind of just disappeared. Even after she rejected me. And even when I asked out another girl, I didn't really have the same feeling as well. And it makes me think about how much often we're kind of just allowing ourselves to be more scared of these things than we should be. Because at the end of the day, I know the whole cliche of what's the worst she could say, besides no, is often stated way too often. But I think it is often more true than not, because I feel like we have to get over the idea of like, oh my gosh, it's so scary. Because I feel like when you kind of learn to face rejection in your life, and this kind of goes for all kinds of rejections, it kind of makes you realize how much you could truly win, because almost nothing in your life you're going to win over without some form of rejection or failure, whether it be being with a girl that you like. Eventually you're gonna be rejected at some point, usually, right? And you're gonna have to face that, but eventually you're also gonna face success. And I found myself feeling a lot more happier today, and how I also find as I get older, a lot of speed throwing when a girl just doesn't really like me. Because I remember the second girl I cold approached, she kind of just hit me with, because I asked her her Instagram. She was like, I just don't be checking it like that. And I don't really, I don't be on Instagram like that. And I'm going to be honest, bro, whenever a girl says that, I'm just like, wrap it up, bro. Wrap it up. Stop wasting my time. So with this girl, I wasn't as direct. I was just going to ask for Instagram and then flirt with her there. But, after she told me that, I just decided to be more direct my intentions. And I find as a young man, I'm very young. Well, maybe not too young. I'm 23, right? That oftentimes it's more important to be bold in your life than it is to try to play it safe, which is, I know it's a cliche, but I find myself winning a lot more when I'm just straightly direct, because I'm a very blunt person. But when it comes to women, I am just like absolutely not very, very blunt. Like, I am so like passive and just like, well, if you feel so. But I'm kind of learning to be more assertive, not in a like a controlling way, but more so in a way of like, hey, I'm a person who does have my boundaries, and I am a person that, will establish leadership. So I really encourage some of y'all, if you're afraid of cold approaching, for one, like, obviously I'm not going to tell you get over it, because it's not like that. But the only way you're going to get better or be able to talk to women in general is by just constantly putting yourself out there and experience the failure. Because I'm going to be honest, once you experience failure so many times, you honestly start to be able to handle it a lot greater, and you get closer to the success that you would like to see. And I found that way, like when it comes to applying jobs, I applied to so many jobs during the last year. Like, it was a horrible job time, but I got so used to a lot of rejection or not hearing back that it didn't really bother me as much, because I knew that eventually I would get the job that I have now. Which, it's funny, I don't really like my job. At least it's fine in the moment, but I'm more of a person who kind of likes to be on my own and be in my own head. So yeah, I just encourage y'all to really put your first foot forward, because honestly, it felt good actually saying something and making my intentions known, because I'm so passive with women personally that it can be a little weird sometimes to actually try. But yo, not the craziest video today, but I hope y'all have a great day.